It's Dave from Blackbird Cycles, and we're back on the Blackbird project. And I got this Cowpie. The reason I'm going with Cowpie is I got some creative ideas that I want to use for the clutch system and stuff. The only problem is I got this transmission from a guy I know this transmission came from a guy who is not very swift. Just say that. So first thing I'm gonna do is, actually before I pull that, I'll roll this thing up, pull this transmission plate off. God, this thing was grimy too when I got it. Our brake fluid cleaned a lot of stuff off of it. And a lot of grease crap. I had a belt drive on it, which I'm probably going to go back to chain drive in my in this bike, regular primary. And yeah, I'm still wearing a jacket because I just turned on the heat out here. So this transmission plate is probably not going to work. Probably going to have to order a transmission plate tomorrow. Try to get this thing tore down and see if it needs any seals. I'm sure it needs seals and all that stuff, so as far as I know, this transmission was working. How good, I don't know. At least it looks like there's good transmission studs all the way around. I've checked the threads on that. If anything's going to be stripped, it'll be the threads on that. I'm not seeing any oil come out of this thing yet. And I know there's a lot of that front cover and a lot of other stuff's loose. So not even sure that transmission plate will fit the holes in my frame. That frame was originally from a set up for a 5-speed, of course. We'll get a look at that in a little bit. I want to just kind of see where I'm at with this transmission and see what kind of stuff I'm going to need for it. Need 5/8. Hopefully this guy hasn't robbed a bunch of crap out of it before he got rid of it. The fact that that wasn't loose was a good sign. Means there might still be some threads in there. It's tight. Looks like the original plug. See if anything comes leaking out of that thing. There. There's only a few bolts holding this on. So, question is how much is still in here. That's going to be the same. You can take all the guts out of it. My buddy wound up with this transmission in a bunch of Ryan that works here. He wound up with this transmission in a trade deal, and the guy that it came from is really untrustworthy. Let's just say that. Well, it's not looking good from the get-go. Seems that we have a bunch of metal shavings, bronze metal shavings in this, so probably gonna need some kicker parts for sure. Looks like the back side of that kicker gear is all gouged up. The spring back there doesn't look healthy either. God. Yeah. Gonna have to come all the way apart, looks like. Just make sure we get all those shavings out of this thing. Well, I guess the next part we'll see if it's going to go through any gears at all. Well, that's loose. So that was just thrown on there, looks like. This means I don't have to fight it, I guess. There we go. Turning. It's a good sign. Feels like neutral. Let's get a pair of channel locks and see if we can make this thing shift. At least the threads are good, shaft is good, no key. Like that was going to surprise me. I believe that's neutral right there. Single piece clutch rod. Looks like somebody may have done something to it. I can turn that. Well, yeah, it might be first gear. Oh, this is a pain to do by yourself. Trying a way to bolt this thing down. But I'm not putting it in my brand new, fresh painted frame to test all this, because it's all got to be cleaned. And you definitely have a gear there. I think that's first. Should be first. Keep passing it up. Might be neutral there. Yeah, that's neutral. Heard the detent. That should be second. Let's see if that's third. Let's see if we got fourth. There's fourth. There's third. Second. Neutral, maybe just a little bit past neutral. We're not. First, let's see if we can go back to neutral. There's neutral, so it looks like it is shifting. I wanted to make sure it would go through all the gears before I pull this top off. Plus, I just wanted to make sure it was in neutral, so when I put the top back on, we know it's all good. I'm gonna be looking for bolts, that's for sure. It looks like there's 2 bolts, 3 maybe, holding this whole top on. Afraid what I'm gonna find inside this thing, as bad as those brown shavings were, but I think that's just from an improperly installed kicker gear. Improperly installed kicker gear, let's say that. I think I've got an old transmission out in the other shop that was locked up because somebody let it sit out in the weather and it was full of water. And it's probably not fixable. Just as I suspected. Now this looks pretty good. Doesn't look like it's been chewed out any. I'll let you get a look inside this here in a minute. Everything inside this tranny looks pretty good. And it was in neutral because both shift and forks are out of the cogs. Well, I'm not as disappointed as I expected to be. Let's just say that. Worm gear looks good. We'll have to flush this thing out, of course. But man, I think we got a runner, at least. That'll be good. May have to go dig in the other shop here in a minute and see if I can find the other top plate bolts. Spray all this stuff out with some brake clean. I bought some cheap brake clean, $3 a can. Yeah, that's a bad move. Because it don't work worth crap. Probably some of that eco-friendly bullshit. Looks like it's in good shape. I'm kind of happy with that. Not seeing anything showing major amounts of wear. Also, what makes me wonder is, I believe that would be the neutral. And that's not where it's at. Probably have to bolt this thing back together and double check the gearing. Make sure they had this top plate on in the right direction, because somehow I don't think they did. Could be why I was having problems going through all the gears. Everything up here in the shifter plate looks good though. I don't think we got a bad situation going on. I think we're good. I'm gonna go see if I can find those other bolts just out of curiosity. And maybe some other parts out of the other transmission. I'll be right back with you. As you can see, this transmission, this other one, this is from the other transmission, set full of water for quite some time. My buddy brought it to me to see if we could do anything with it, and there was just, the gears were so rusted together, there was no getting the gears unstuck. Even if we did, they wouldn't run good. So I did find the bolts that I needed though. And I don't know, this outer case right here, is a non-kicker. At least it's got a good arm on it. Let's see. I have to go find the coil. We got a good arm nut. Non-kicker though. Cover. Just got a few parts out of that tranny that was usable. With this coat off. I'm not too disappointed in this transmission, to be honest with you. Get the flashlight, look down in that. Looks pretty clean in there. It's clean. We'll probably put this top back on and not worry about that. Oh yeah. Looks like all those shavings stayed out in the kicker cover because that's where they started. This tranny actually looks really good inside. I'll get the camera here in a minute. As soon as I clean my hands off, we'll get the camera and all. Get in there with the flashlight to show you what I'm talking about. I don't know about this. We'll have to find out about that. Let's see here. I can tell you that you're short on hand cleaner. You can always grab some glass cleaner. We keep glass cleaner around just because it seems to be it seems to work better on degreasing your hands than glass cleaner or hand cleaner, to be honest. I just don't know about this right here. That is really chewed up. I don't know that this kicker gear ever worked, to be honest. Right. I don't know why it's chewed up there. Let's take a look at this gear here. It's not beat up like it, you know. But that was definitely out of adjustment, and that gear was riding in that. That's what caused all those shavings. Somebody not knowing what the hell they're doing. Do this over this table so I can clean the table. That went on my glasses. That's not going to be good. Isn't that nice? Looks like they didn't have freaking gaskets. They just stuck Permatex on it. I wish people wouldn't do shit like that. Go buy the damn gasket. This has got the chrome peeling off of it, so really didn't want a chrome one anyway, to be honest. I think I'm gonna do some engraving on aluminum one. It's all greased and working well. He must run this thing a long time with it that way too, because man, there's a lot of shavings in here. It's all bronze, and that back on that looks like it's made out of bronze, so and it was hitting inside those gears, so have to look, see if I can find I may just look, see if I can find a whole kicker set up on Marketplace or something. I don't know how much of this one I'm going to use, because I really don't like the outer cover. I'm going to have to do something with the outer cover. Either sandblast it or something. It looks like we got a complete transmission though. Throw all these rags away. I did find the other bolts I needed, so that's a good thing. This gasket looks fine. I'll probably replace it before I put this in, once I put this in the bike. It'll have to come off again. Go get a scuff pad. That'll clean that better than anything. Like a little bit of brake clean and some scuff pad gonna clean that up nice. Well, I'm glad to be putting the shovel back together. Go get a small screwdriver and pick, so I'll try to get some of that grease out of there. Oh, let's see here that. This. Somebody at one point may have painted the top of this thing. Huh. There you go. Nut stuck down in that grind. That doesn't look like that belongs there. I got thinking, how the hell would somebody get that nut off anyway? So, what it was, somebody dropped a nut on top of this thing probably 100 years ago. All in all, I'm fairly happy with this transmission. It's in better shape than I expected. Doesn't even feel like it's loose. It actually feels like it might be a really good transmission. Another thing I always expect to find on these older transmissions is spots where somebody's welded them up. I didn't find any of that on this case. So, I don't know if I want to try to pull that gasket or not. It's loose in a few places, but I bet if I try to take it off, I'm buying another one right off the bat. Somebody at some point did get in there and beat on this thing a little bit though. I knew the bike originally that this came out of. When Ryan showed up with these parts, he had a title of the frame, and that he was, we took the St. Louis guy over there, wanted it. When I pulled the title out and looked at it, funny thing was my brother-in-law's name was on the title, which means this was an electric FLH that came from a fellow named Ronnie Marvel. Now, some of you that watch my channel will know who Ronnie Marvel is. Kendall Marvel went off to Nashville years ago and became a very established songwriter and entertainer. And Kendall rode this bike all through high school. And I knew this bike very well because him being a musician, me being a musician, we run around together and what have you. And but he still lives down in Nashville. Look him up. Got a good album out, probably a couple actually. But this bike was his dad's bike, and Preston bought it from, I guess, Kendall's dad, and that's how he had it for years. And then he decided he was selling all his bikes, and he sold this one. And I think the idiot that bought this bike is the one who trashed it, basically. So, truth be known, if it'd been worth fixing, I'd probably called Kendall up and said, "Hey, I got your dad's bike here. Do you want it?" The guy's selling it, and it's about 70% here if you want to redo it. But the idiot that had this bike decided he was going to put a RevTech motor. Took the shovel motor out of it and put a RevTech motor in the damn frame, but in order to do that, in his Shovelhead frame, he cut the damn down tube out of it, which was sheer stupidity. I'm telling you, just some people there's no help for, and this guy's one of those people. But not Ryan, but the guy Ryan got this stuff from. Had I known which bike this was when I seen him riding the guy that originally had it, had I known this was that bike, I would have got it from him. And we put Ronnie's bike back on the road again, but I didn't know, you know. Just another black Shovelhead. There's a lot of them. So. We're getting somewhere on this thing. Yeah, I'd say this was painted black at one time. I'd say that's safe to assume because this shifter arm is all black. Yeah, my goal is to try to get this right enough to put in the frame and do all the, get the primary stuff all done and get all that done, and then I will figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this transmission. I seriously thought about doing some custom paint on it. When I get the bike done, I get figured out exactly what I'm going to do as far as the paint on the bike. It's definitely going to be black, but it'll have some type of graphics on it. And probably whatever graphics I do on the bike, we're probably going to match on the transmission. Which I know sounds odd, but it'll look really cool. not enough room for graphics, but there might be enough room to just throw some color in there or something to match what the graphics are. And I need to go down and get some little brushes. I had some small brushes, but I guess they've got used up. It's looking a lot better. A lot better. I'm sure that's just black spray bomb on this thing. One of these videos I will test this neutral safety switch. I'll show you how to test it. They're real easy. All it's doing is using a magnet to basically short the circuit so that the light comes on when you put it in neutral. So saying, I see so many bikes come in my shop and with absolutely no respect for that machine. This makes me sick. Even know how bad a bike was treated, you know. God, I had a bike come in one time. We nicknamed this bike Sparkles because somebody had taken Ford blue paint and brushed it on and then threw glitter all over the damn thing. Looked like strippers gone wild, all you know, and it just, the amount of problems in that motorcycle. He brought it in because it wouldn't start, and what was happening is the bolt in the washer behind the jack shaft, where you bolt the jack shaft in, had sheared the little keeper key that's on that washer. And when you go to start those, when that happens, it just spins the jack shaft right out. You know, just loosens the bolt, spins it right out. First time you try to start it. And so we fixed that, and then he calls me up and he says, how much to go through that bike and fix everything on it? We got looking and somebody had JB welded the rocker bolts in. They had welded the nuts on the exhaust studs. And the bad thing about it is it wasn't even good weld, and they did it with a damn stick welder. So that turned out to be I believe that may be the only bike that I have ever refused to work on. After we got that starter deal going, I called the boy that bought it. He bought on Marketplace. Some guy screwed his eyeballs out. And I said, dude, this bike is not worth enough for me to fix. I said, it's a Softail standard. It runs good, but it's not going to run long before something else breaks. And I'm telling you, they have welded shit on this thing and everything else. It is not worth fixing. I said, if I were you, I would put it back on Marketplace and get rid of it. take a loss on it, whatever you got to do. But if you try riding this thing, you're going to be back in here every 2 or 3 months trying to get me to work on it. And I am not working on this thing again. Once it's out of here, it's out of here. So, and that's what he did. So, good for him. I see so many people spray paint shit on their motorcycles. If I caught somebody spray paint shit, I'd walk up and smack them for being stupid. Okay. Let's see here. See if we can get these shifters to line back up. There we go. Let's see if I can find some washers. Yeah, that washer looks too big. This one looks about the right size. Find some more washers. Couple more. Clean these bolts up a little bit. The training feels pretty good. I'll say one thing. The reason these things have lasted so many years, and I know it sounds stupid, but the tolerances when they drilled these and threaded these, the tolerances were just a little bit sloppy. What I mean by that is the thread tolerance is just a little bit more than the bolt. So instead of these steel bolts going up inside this aluminum case, they have plenty of room to just corrode a little bit and still be fine. You know what I mean? So they thought about shit like that back in the old days. This is gonna be. I don't feel any play in those bearings, so I really don't want to pull those bearings apart unless I have to. Those brown shavings are everywhere. I have to get the air pulled in here. Gonna have to clean this and blow it out, clean this and blow it out, clean this and blow it out to get rid of all that shit. Yep, well, we're good there. Kicker gear and stuff, I'm probably going to order a whole nother kicker plate. I'm going to look online and see if there's anything available. If not, I may call V-Twin, get a whole new kicker plate with all the new gears and stuff in it before I put too much time into this other one. Now the other one I may just take out, I may fire up sandblaster and sandblast it, I don't know. Get that chrome off of it and see where we're at from there before I spend money, but we are looking at a good transmission. So ooh, well, we found the bushing, we found the bronze. Look at that. Yeah, right there would be the problem. That's where all those shavings came from. Well, we're gonna have to look into that. This, however, looks solid. So anyway, this day from Iron Blackbird Cycles, and looks like we got a good operational 4-speed Cowpie ready to go in the shovel. And she's gonna be sitting right there when I get her done.